Hey, good morning, everybody.
What's up, dude?
Mike.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Man, I'm fantastic. How you doing?
I'm great. We're so there was a Easter egg hunt, at Ace's school yesterday, and they made him like a hat with like bunny ears, and he's 3.5, Mike. So you better be sure that he slept with them on last night.
I'm 100% sure.
So I'm gonna paint a little picture for you. You got the bunny ears, and you got dino slippers. Dino slippers are a must-have for the thing, and then dino pajamas. There they are. Dino pajamas. Come on and work. He wants to work with me.
Yeah.
Really,
he can work with us. It's cool.
So yeah. So anyway, hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the webinar. Welcome to the Q&A. This is the Perna Team Real Estate Q&A. We do this every Saturday at 10 a.m. We've been doing this since the pandemic started. We've had a tremendous amount of success. And I'll introduce everybody very quickly. My name is Austin Pothast. I'm the Director of Sales on the team, and I've been doing this a long time, and I'm responsible for the day-to-day sales operations for the team. And Michael Perna over here is our CEO. And Michael Perna has been in the business even longer than me, even though you're 2 weeks younger than me. And we're both turning 40 this year. So there's that. But anyway, so Michael Perna is our CEO. And I affectionately call Mike a world-class fiddler. He's always figuring out better ways to do things, and it really shows up for us. And so Mike's responsible for the overall operations of everything. So at any rate, our Q&A looks like this. Any questions that you have real estate related, anything that's on your mind, throw in there, and that we'll make sure that we answer and get you going that way. So throw in your comments. We'll make sure that we get to them. We've got a bunch of content to go through. And look, I'm excited. I'm excited because you're excited, Mike, because you called me ahead of time and you said, man, I've got a boatload of market stats. So tell me more about it. It sounds like you were world-class fiddling and figuring out some stuff. What did you find out?
Okay. And let me just throw this into the chat right quick. There we go. Good morning, Facebook and YouTube world. Bring us your questions. In the meantime, I am going to talk about some market stats because this is really, really interesting. I'm going to flip screens for a second so I can see it. You guys can still see me, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay. So this is interesting. I'm putting together just a month in review video for what happened in March, which will be out on Wednesday, but kind of running some numbers. So in February, there were 4,573 homes that went onto the market as new listings. Okay. In February, 4,500. A little bit north of it. In March, we had 6,647, meaning that we've had a 32% increase month over month in just the number of properties that have gone on the market, which for our buyers, that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, 32% more properties were on the market in March versus February this year, right?
It's a big number.
Yeah, and I'm gonna even shoot that back one full year. The difference between March 2021 and March 2020 is only 487 homes put on the market. So there are 487 homes less, under 10% less inventory, less homes to choose from. It still feels like this super, super crazy hot market because those interest rates are still at 3%, pushing a lot of buyers into the market. But guys, I gotta tell you, March, and I believe in April especially, I mean, if you're looking to buy a home, things are loosening up. It is getting easier to get offers accepted. It's happening, right? Yeah. Hold the faith, essentially.
Yeah, I know that's one of the things that we struggle with from a branding standpoint, Mike, is like there's a lot of sellers in particular that don't want to enter into the market because they're like, man, what am I going to be able to find? What am I going to be able to get? And what's interesting about that is when you look at our team. So you went super macro, and I really like those stats. And if you go super micro, if you look at what's been going on with the team, we helped 120 families last month. And we won offers for 57 buyers last month.
Yeah.
Right. And so we've been able to really navigate this. I'm proud of it. It's something that we train to every single day in navigating and negotiating on the behalf of our clients and finding that. But anyway, this thing seems to be kind of, the tree seems to be kind of shaking loose a little bit. I agree with you. So 32% increase in listings. We experienced that too. So we doubled our listings.
We did. Yeah, so month over month, the number of sellers that chose us and employed us that we put on the market has doubled. So we beat the increase, which is great, and I love that. I'm so grateful to our clients and our agents and everybody that's just knocking it out of the park there.
Yeah.
And that's a good number to dwell on. Also, is that 57 number. So what that's showing to me is we're getting our offers accepted for our buyers.
Yeah.
And to your point, not always at the highest price. Like price is a term, but not all the terms. I mean, we've got multiple examples now just in the last 30 days of where our buyer got their homes accepted and they did not pay the absolute most, right?
Yeah.
Like there was one last month where the high bid was 258, ours got accepted at 250. Another one where the high bid was 275, ours got accepted at 270 or 263. Because sellers are looking at that as well and saying, you know what, it's not just price, it's terms. A lot of sellers, and is also trust that we're going to be able to carry the ball to a closing, right? Yep. What I'm seeing on the other side is, and so this was interesting. I did a little bit of an autopsy last week and a half on our listings and the offers that are coming in. And I'm seeing a lot of agents in the market start picking up some of the pieces of how to really drill down to win multiple offer situations, but not all of the pieces.
Yeah.
So I think, conversely, that's part of the reason why we're getting our offers accepted. We're really knocking it out of the park as a team on that one.
We call it the Al Pacino, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like a funny thing, right? Like, so if you've ever seen Any Given Sunday, Al Pacino gives this really passionate speech, and there's a lot of swear words, so this is not for the kids. But one of the things he talks about is things are a game of inches, right? Mm-hmm. And so just like anything else in life, you can execute on, if there's 8 things that you need to execute on to get an offer accepted, like you can do a pretty good job and execute on 5 or 6 and not get it one. And one of the things that we're constantly talking to our sales staff about, Mike, and one of the messaging I always get out is like, look, we got to hit every single, matter of fact, we got to hit every single little inch, right? It's a game of inches. And as a matter of fact, it's something that our coach says to us. He says, hey, whenever things get tight, whenever competition gets tight, whenever things get tight, you've got to be able to lean into the things that differentiate you. You got to lean into them, right? So it's one of the things that we do. Yeah, we're really proud of that. And overall, have no fear. The market is shaking loose.
It is, and it's really starting to shake loose in a big way, which frankly I'm loving. It means more options for buyers. It means a little bit lower competition for our sellers. They're still getting. Okay. So here's another one. Are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Again, digging into the numbers. All right. Average sales price in March 2020.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
March 2020.
Yeah.
200 in Metro Detroit. All of Metro Detroit plus Ann Arbor.
Yep.
$243,531.
So 243.
Yep. 245.
Okay.
March 2021. 277,587.
Yeah.
So that's a $34,000 and $56. $34,000 price increase, or 13.9% average value increase year over year.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's huge. That's huge. Yeah. So go ahead.
No, keep going. No.
Yeah. So my message to anybody out there looking for a home that might have lost a couple of offers or whatever that looks like, guys, keep the faith. Keep the faith, because we've got buyers that are coming to us now saying, yep, we worked with an agent last year. About a year ago, it didn't work out. We released our apartment, and we're showing them the same properties, $30,000 and $40,000 higher.
Yeah. Can I tell you the craziest thing that I just thought of about that entire thing?
Yeah.
So you said, okay, so last year was 243.5 was the average, right? Across all Metro Detroit.
Yeah.
And Metro Detroit's a big place. It goes all the way from like Washtenaw County all the way up to Port Huron. It's like a big place, right? And then you said this year it bumped up to 270 what?
277, almost 277.5.
277.5. You know what the thing that jumped to my head? Same house payment.
Yeah, same house
payment. Even though home prices went up that much, it's the same house payment.
Great point.
Right? Yeah. The same house within 25 or $50. I mean, nothing to write home about. Probably I bet you within $25, maybe less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And that's a great way to put it, because the interest rates are still down a full 1.25 1.5 from where they were 12 months ago.
Yeah.
I didn't even think along those lines, but you're right.
Yeah, think about it. And so here's the conversation that we're constantly having with sellers and constantly having with buyers. And this is not new news to anybody if you've watched this program before. Hey, buddy, I'm trying to talk. quiet with the car, please. Sorry. Which is also not new news. Ace loves cars.
True.
But anyway, um, uh, if you're a buyer, you care about what your payment is, right? Like unless you're a cash buyer, and I would say I don't know what percent of transactions right now are cash, 5 or 10%, maybe.
Yeah, about there.
But by and large, when people buy a home, they're buying with a payment. They care what their payment is, right? Uh, and sellers care about well, a couple things. Sellers care about how much money they're getting out of the house,
Mm-hmm.
and especially the longer someone's been in the house, Mike, or if they have families, sellers care about what's going to make this transaction the easiest. Because
Yeah.
moving is tough. Moving is tough enough, but like moving all your stuff out of a house and into a new house, it's tough, right?
Yeah.
And so if buyers care about payments and sellers care about money, it's a market where both people win. Right now, you can get, if you're a seller, you can get money in terms, and if you're a buyer, you can get a great payment for the next 30 years, 360 payments worth, right?
That's the truth.
So it's interesting, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's way interesting. And here's one more stat I'll throw out there for you. 10 years ago, the average sales price in Michigan, or at least in Southeast Michigan and Metro Detroit and Ann Arbor, was at $142,000.
How long ago?
10 years ago.
So 142 to 270.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Incredible. I mean, we were coming out of the down market at that point. Prices had just started really increasing in a big way, right? So 2009 was our level off and our begin to move up. 2010, we moved up a little bit. 2012 was when we started really taking off like a rocket. 2011 was kind of that pause button. And that's where we hit that 142. And we were on the way up a little bit. And then 2012 and on, it just went up and up and up and up and up from there.
Yeah.
I mean, and just looking at it. So we got the 142, then it went to 162, 180, 194. And then from
do you have the ability to share that screen?
You know what? Let me see if I can figure out a way to do that.
You got to have it on Chrome.
Yeah, that's a hard one. But anyway, so we went to 217 to 228. Oh, come on, computer. There we go, to 238. And then between 19 and 20, we did not go up that much in equity. Like we went up literally $5,000 on like average sales price across the board. And then again, we took off like a rocket again in 2020 and 2021. Yeah. Which again, goes right back to those interest rates, right?
You know what that makes me think of?
What's that?
How many times do we have conversations with somebody that says, I want to wait for things to go down?
Oh, all the time.
Or people try to time the market.
Yeah.
And you can't do it. You really can't time the market. There's no way to know.
No, there's no way to know. And it's interesting because, and I just read a great book called The Psychology of Money. And it went back over 100-year period through both Great Depressions and all the little mini recessions and everything. Yeah. And he found that people that had tried, or financial institutions that had tried to time the market, time the tops and the bottoms, always came out between 30 to 50% less at the end of a 100-year period than people that literally just stayed in it and just kept adding money to it. So they just steadily added a little chunk. There's just a little minutia every month, just a couple of bucks. Even through the Great Depression, they didn't pull the money out. They just kept adding a little bit to it, right? They allowed the market to go down, then go back up. And then same thing in this last 2008, plus, Black Monday in the 80s, like all of those things, they 100% of the time beat the people that tried to time the market, 100%.
Yeah.
Which is craziness to me. I'd never thought about it that way. And the real estate market's no different, right? So, 2015 and 16, there were economists talking about the next crash because of how fast home prices were going up. 2017 and 18, economists were talking about this can't sustain. 2020, people are thinking about, okay, COVID, we're about to get rocked. Didn't happen again. We're about to hit massive unemployment, which we did in a couple of sectors, but not the sectors that are homeowners and not the sectors that are home buyers, right? So not only did those people remain gainfully employed, but they're sought after. Our unemployment rates for let's call it the 60,000 or 70,000 plus crowd is still at the lowest it's ever been. Still. And these guys are fighting over each other. These companies are fighting for people right now. Right. And so again, we're propelling that market. Now we have interest rates floating around 3%, 2.9 to 3.1. Guys, I just don't see this crash on the radar in the next 3, 4, 5 years. I don't. I don't see any economic data, and I study this on a daily basis, that would reflect that we're going to see a 5, 10, 15% decrease. And to your point, Austin, you like to say that only twice in American history have we gone down more than 10%.
Yep.
In value.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, conversely,
how about this? Yeah. How about this? We're certainly not going to. You're certainly not going to see things drop enough to matter. Does that make sense? So,
yes.
For instance, here's what I'll say. Ready? Let's pretend that you're renting, and you're looking at home prices and going, holy cow, that seems high. By the way, home prices are less than what you're paying in rent. So, but anyway, that's another topic. And let's say, man, I don't know if I want to jump in the market, or maybe that's the first time that you're entering into the market and you're looking at a $250,000 house and you were thinking to yourself, I don't want to spend a penny more than $250,000. And then you're looking at what $300,000 gets you. And you're going, man, I'd really like to get that. And one of the things that I would say is get what you like. Because watch this. So you might be thinking to yourself, I'm just going to wait until that $300,000 home comes down to $250,000. And here's the deal. Not only do I not think that $300,000 home is coming down, but even if it did, it's coming down to $295,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if it did, it's coming down to $290,000. By the way, $10,000 on a mortgage payment, because again, unless you're one of the 5% that are cash buyers, $10,000 on a mortgage payment is roughly what, $45 right now?
That's it. $45 a month.
So you're going to keep renting and losing money paying someone else's mortgage, your landlord's mortgage, to save $45 a month.
Yeah. Well, and then go ahead.
Well, I don't know what $45 gets you in your house. In my house, it's like, I'm pretty sure that's our applesauce budget. You know what I mean? Like it's,
pretty much.
It's a tank of gas,
It really is. It really is a tank of gas nowadays. And let's run the play out even further, right? So the average American right now staying in their home about 11 years.
Yeah.
Give or take, right?
Yeah.
What if we have this miraculous crash in 3 or 4 years, right? Yeah. Let's say that the wheels come off the bus and it just happens, right? The last recession we had, where prices dropped like a rock, in really 2008 was when it happened. From that moment to the moment that we were back to good, like back to the 100% level, was 8 years. Okay. So even if you purchase today, and even if the market goes down in 3 years, if you're planning on staying there 11 years, like the average American right now, you're right back at the zero number, 11 years. If we have something as catastrophic as the second worst recession in history.
Yeah.
And these are a lot of ifs that we're throwing out there, but look at the other side of the same thing, right? So here's the flip side of the coin. During that 11 years, you're also getting the mortgage interest deduction, right? And for most Americans, that's almost $3,000 a year back on their taxes. Let's say it's $2,000. So that's $20,000 back on your taxes over 10 years right there, right? In addition to that, you're paying off principal, right? Let's say you're at a median home price. Let's say the average home price at $277. You're going to start at $350 a month in your principal payments only. So that's $4,000 a year you're paying down your principal. That's $40,000 right there. So even if in 11 years you're back to zero on the home itself, that's still a $65,000 push in your direction.
Yeah. And then you got to take into account maintenance. So like, just to be fair, the rule of thumb is about 1%. So like, so you're going to spend $2,500 a year on average on maintenance. It's probably not even that much, but so you're going to pay out $25,000 in that, but it doesn't matter. You're still on even if we include maintenance into this, you're still on the positive under that equation by what? $35,000.
Yeah.
And then by the way, I've been asked to speak at an underprivileged community event this morning. It's a Zoom thing, and that's actually one of the things that I'm going to talk to the people about. Is like the number one predictor of wealth in America is homeownership. Yeah, number one predictor of wealth in America is homeownership. Right,
100%. 100%.
You're not going to lose. You can't time it, and you're not going to lose.
No,
you can't time it. You're not going to lose. Hey, by the way, everybody, good morning. And if you're just jumping on, and welcome. 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 We do a real estate Q&A. My name is Austin Pothast. I'm the director of sales at the Perna team. Mike Perna is our CEO. And the format of this, and we've been talking about market stats, and we've been talking about the increase in home prices. We've also been talking about the increase of listings hitting the market and why that matters for our sellers, because we're able to negotiate and find them somewhere to go. We're up double on the amount of listings that we're taking. We're up. We've been able to negotiate for 57 families, winning them offers. And so even though you might be hearing a narrative that it's really hard to get a house, we're highly skilled and we're able to do that. But at any rate, the format of this is anything on your mind, throw in and ask questions, and we'll make sure that we get to those. And we've been kind of nerding out with market stats. And so we appreciate you hopping on. We do this every single week at 10 a.m. And welcome. So anyway, throw your questions down at the little box. Or comment how handsome we are. Whatever you want to do, I'm in, and we're sure to answer those things. And we'll stay here until all the questions are answered. But yeah, it's good stuff. Okay, so really interesting data.
Very interesting.
So unpack that a little bit. So you're seeing that year-over-year increase.
Yeah.
What's next?
I've got one more stat to throw out there, which was this one. I thought was really interesting. So month over month, number of homes sold. Right, Metro Trade Plus Harbor. Last month there were 3,889 homes that closed, that sold, closed. Buyers now own a home that the seller owned a month before. Right, that's just the base definition I'm using. Not pending, but actually closed.
Yeah.
In March, that number jumped up to 4,644. So a 19% increase in number of home sales, just the sheer number of homes sold month over month. Right.
Okay.
Now check this out on the year over year. Last March, 4,463 homes closed. This March, 4,464 homes closed. It was literally a one home difference between a year ago and now.
That's impossible. Seriously?
Seriously. I double checked the numbers. I was like, that can't be right. That can't be right.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I walked over in the office and went because Nick's in right now, and I walked over to talk to him, and I was like, dude, can you run this stat for me? And he's like, no, that's what it is. Yeah. We were both kind of blown away.
Huh.
Right?
So what about total units for the entire year? Did you run that? Or did you just run March versus March, February versus February?
I'd run them versus each other, but I can pull that data up. Hang on one second.
Because I'd be really curious about that.
So let's see. Year to date.
Now, by the way, to me, this is a non-pandemic number.
Right.
This is a non-pandemic number. And can I tell you why, Mike?
Yeah, please.
Look, when you buy a home, right? When you buy a home, you don't go out and look at a home and then you buy it and you drive off the lot the next day, right?
Yeah.
When you buy a home, you go out and you look at homes and you go under contract to buy that home, and then you have to go through your mortgage approval and the title, and you got to get an appraisal and you get the inspection done and all these things. Not on every transaction, but the whole process takes 45 to 60 days, certainly at least 30 to 60 days. And I would say our average transaction is probably, I would probably say even to this day, a 50-day, like somewhere in there. So call it 2 months. Let's call it what it is, a month and a half, 2 months. So that means the reason that I'm saying it's a pre-pandemic number is because all of these people entered into the market. All the people that closed in March entered into the market like in January. This is like hey, I'm waiting till after the holidays crowd. Right. And let me just get through the holidays and then I'll get out and start looking at a house. Or this is hey, my job relocated here, and my expectation was that my family was here by Q1. So I had to come in and start working Q1. And then my wife and I, we went out one weekend and we looked at a bunch of houses, and then we landed on a house, and the idea was to move in by start of Q2. Right. I mean, that's how the corporate relocation world works. And so, so all of that stuff happened before the lockdown, because the lockdown didn't happen last year until March 23rd. And as a matter of fact, if you take into account some of that stuff, I mean, that's a pre-pandemic number.
It is.
It really is. Yeah. That's interesting. One home difference. Well,
this is interesting. Okay. So put that into the comments right there. All right. So Q1 2020. Q1 is done. In the books. It's out. It's over.
Yeah.
Total number of homes sold 2021, 12,178.
Say it again.
Yep. Total number of homes sold, 12,178 in quarter one.
Okay.
Now, first quarter of last year, 11,891.
So we're up.
We're up 287 home sales.
Wait, but all I keep hearing
There are no homes to buy.
is that there's no homes to buy, but we've sold more homes.
But there's actually more homes. There were actually more homes, like by like, a couple percent, but still more homes, even though there are no homes to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that interesting? Okay.
Which that's an interesting stat. And I'm gonna actually pull a different one as well. Let's see if I can actually get this.
That's an interesting stat.
Yeah.
By the way, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the real estate Q&A. Throw in your questions.
There we go.
What are you pulling up now?
Okay. So what I'm looking at now is, so first quarter last year, the average number of days on market was for the 3 months. Actually, they were all almost dead not done. 50 days on market January, 51 February, 47 in March.
Okay.
Days on market this year, 14, 13, and 9.
Whoa.
And that's a massive difference. I mean, think about that. That includes like a property that's been sitting there for a year, because that's counted in those numbers. That's maybe, a 200-acre parcel that a builder's got to pick up and a very unique buyer.
Hey, you got to screenshot that and email that to me.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to screenshot that.
We got to get that out to our listing agents. You know what that tells me? Yeah, that tells me if you've got a home listed on the market and you haven't sold within 2 weekends, you're overpriced.
That's it.
Tells me.
That's exactly what that means. Dude, that's craziness to me. I'm looking at this. So this is how this is playing out in what we're feeling, right?
Yeah.
So we know with the factual data that there are, because we were just using public record, we're going back to the D transfers. There are more homes that had sold first quarter this year than first quarter last year.
Yeah.
But they're selling 4 times as fast, or they're selling 20% of the time, or 25% of the time. So we're seeing 20% or 25% of the signs in the ground. We're seeing 20 to 25% of, the listings on any one of the real estate portals, including our own website. Right. Usually a buyer would log in, like January last year, a buyer would log in and see 4 times the properties on the market versus this year. It is not that there are less properties, it's that they're moving 4 times as fast.
Yeah. You know what it feels like to me? Those are crazy. All right. You ever gone to an arcade? You ever gone to like Pinball Pete's in Ann Arbor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, dude, Pinball Pete's?
Pinball Pete's. By the way, true story. I worked there when I was like 16.
We probably run into each other.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been there when I was 16.
Yeah, for sure. It was down below of a Tower Records. Remember Tower Records?
Oh, that place was so good.
Going into a CD store, like,
right? Yeah,
crazy, right? Anyway, so they had an air hockey table. They had 2 air hockey tables, right? Remember air hockey?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so you'd start playing air hockey with a friend, and there'd be 2 of you, and you'd be smacking the thing back and forth, and it'd be pinging back and forth, and every once in a while the puck would go flying off the table, and like that sound when you score, cha-chunk, and you're like, yes, right? Now, do you remember the air hockey tables when they spread it out and it was 2 on 2?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there was like multiple pucks.
Yep, I remember that.
That's what the housing market feels like right now. It's like it's just like it's just moving fast, right?
Yeah,
it's moving fast, and to see home prices or to see things go triple fast. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Well, and this is where we're at today, right? This is where we're at. So that's telling me if you're out there in the market as a buyer, you've got to be ready to see a home in 24 or 48 hours, or it's gone.
Let's go.
Right? Yeah. As a seller, that also means that, and actually I did a great video on this the other day. If you're selling your home in 1 day, you're probably leaving a couple of bucks on the table, or leaving a couple of terms on the table. Yeah. And I'm seeing this a lot in the market right now, where agents are posting a lot of things on Facebook saying 1 day sold, sold in 1 day, sold in 24 hours, sold in 12 hours, sold first day on market. Yeah. And my question is, because the other market stat that I looked up was the average home right now is getting 34 showing requests.
Yeah.
Now, the best we can really do is getting a showing down to about a half an hour, right?
Yeah.
Increment, right?
Yeah.
And that's it just is what it is. It's the way the scheduling works. Any more than that, we're just cramming too many people in a house and we're defeating the governor's order and all kinds of other things, right?
Yeah.
So we would need to run, if we were to sell that home in one single day, we would need to run back-to-back showings for 17 hours to get all 34 people in that house.
Yeah, can't do it.
That's not going to happen.
Can't do
And
it.
it's not going to happen for a couple of reasons, mainly because we're not doing showings at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Game of inches, even for our sellers, game of inches. Like, hey,
Yeah.
let's just do showings for 3 days. Give me 3 days.
That's it. That's
Right?
it. Yep. So like our rule, and we talk about this with our sellers when we go on the market, is, hey, we're not accepting an offer the first day.
Yeah.
We will accept an offer day 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah.
Like, that's what this looks like. Because the other side is, we want to be sure every buyer has that opportunity, because a lot of agents right now are, this is why who you choose matters. They're putting a home on the market on Friday. Just they're slapping it up there with no warning that there's a new home coming to the market, right? Like 10 or 11 a.m. whenever they get their data entry done.
Yeah.
By 6 p.m., they've got 3 offers. They've got a dozen showings happening on Saturday, but then they go back to the seller and say, hey, check out this offer. That's really good. Let's just accept this.
Yeah.
And forget the other dozen showings. And that's actually happening right now, which is a shame. We have the ability with our coming soon system to do this completely differently. So we try to do a 2-day market warning. Like, hey guys, there's going to be a new home coming up that you can see over the weekend on Tuesday and Wednesday. We turn it live again Thursday. So again, Thursday and Friday, buyers know that this home's coming up. And part of this is because most of the real estate websites out there still take 24 hours to update. So if I'm a buyer,
You're talking like Zillow or Realtor.com or one of those.
I'm talking about those.
Yep.
So most of those still take 24 hours. So if I'm an agent, I put a home on the market at 10 a.m., a third of buyers in general are not even seeing the property as active until Saturday. So if you're accepting an offer on Friday, same day, 1 day sold, a third of the buyers didn't even get a chance to look at the photos.
Yeah. Interesting.
So we're trying to run this play out. So we go a full 4 days of marketing before we even let the first buyer in, because we want to ensure every buyer has that opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's good for both parties, honestly, Austin. It is. It's good for the sellers because we're able to get the most number of options, most number of offers in front of them to make the best choice for their family. But frankly, it's good for the buyers too, even the ones we don't work with, because at least gives them the opportunity and gives their agents the opportunity to get in, make a bid as well.
Yeah.
It's just
Very
good.
interesting point. Yeah. Very interesting point. Huh.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's really wild. So more homes have sold this year than last year.
Yeah.
But there's no houses.
But there's no houses. But there are no homes for sale.
Very interesting. Very cool stats. Very cool stats this morning.
Yeah.
Very cool stats this morning. By the way, good morning, everybody. If this is your first time on our Q&A, welcome. We do this every single morning, 10 a.m. Every single Saturday, 10 a.m., not every day. And so the format of this is throw your questions in the Q&A, and we'll make sure that we get to those. And we're happy to answer anything real estate related. But in fact, there's kind of a cool question on there from Donna. You want to throw that on there?
Let me see if I can grab it right quick here. I do not. Oh, yeah, there we go. I wasn't even on the comment screen. I am so sorry, everybody. All right, I'm going to go with one of these deals here. Mind blown. Thank you, Chanel. And then Donna. There we go. Oh, Logan, you're back.
It's Donna's birthday.
Let's see. Whose birthday?
It's Donna's birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh,
Donna.
happy birthday, Donna. That's amazing. That's excellent. Go sell a house on your birthday. Do that.
sell a house.
That's a good birthday gift to yourself.
Okay, so the question is, could you explain when should a buyer expect the first mortgage payment after a closing, and who is in charge of paying the occupancy fee in case there is occupancy? Thank you.
Great question.
It is a really good question. Okay, so here's the way mortgages work, right? So when you pay, mortgages are paid afterwards, like they're paid in arrears. In I'll say it a different way, like when you pay your rent every month, right? If you're a renter and you pay the rent for the month you're about to live in the house. Does that make sense? So like you pay January 1 gives you the right to live in the home from January to February. By the way, your Comcast bill is the same way. When you pay your Comcast bill, you're paying for the right to watch television from March until right? April 1st until May 1st. Okay.
Yeah.
The way a mortgage payment works is you're paying actually for the interest that accrued the month before. It's in arrears, right?
Which yeah.
So the way mortgage companies do this is they like because of their billing departments to have things nice and neat. They like to have their payments due on the first of the month. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They like to have the payments due on the first of the month. And so what they'll do is they'll say, when you pay a house payment, when you close on a house, we always wait at least 30 days, right? 'Cause we always wait at least 30 days, and the payment has to be due on the first of the month. Okay.
Yeah.
So what that means is, so today is April 3rd. And obviously you can't close on a home on April 3rd, but you can close on a home on April 5th, which is Monday. Okay.
Right.
If you closed on your home on April 5th, you'd have to wait at least 30 days, which gets us to May 5th. But May 5th doesn't land on the first of the month. So they would push back again till June 1st. So if you closed on a home on Monday, April 5th, your first payment wouldn't be due until June 1st. Typically. Talk to your mortgage guy, but typically. Same kind of thing. Like if you were closing on a home on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, Taco Tuesday. If you were to close on a home on May 5th, your first house payment wouldn't actually be due until July 1st. Now, this is especially important as you're timing things, right? So when you're selling your house, you don't want to get stuck with two house payments, right? And so what you can do is you can time a move where you can close on, again, in April 5th. And typically if you have a house payment, your mortgage gives you like a 15-day grace period. So you could just choose not to pay your mortgage payment because you've got a grace period on your mortgage payment anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then your first payment would be due until June 1st. And so you can line up your move so you have 2 months of no payments.
Yeah.
And so look, for some folks, that's a really big deal. For some folks, that's painting the new house and that's couches. That's alleviating the stress. Actually, for some folks, it's saying, hey, we can move into our new house a month early because I know I won't have two house payments, right? I won't get doubled down on, right? Same kind of thing. If you're renting and you close on something on May 5th, right? And you can get your landlord to just like, hey, look, let me move out a few days later, right? Or even if you close at the end of the month and you said, okay, May 30th or whatever it is. I don't know what the actual calendar dates fall on this year. So if May 30th is a Sunday, don't throw that in my face. I'm just saying, I'm just illustrating a bigger point. The May 30th, your first house payment, even in that instance, isn't going to be due until July 1st. And so you would get to skip that June 1st rent or house payment.
Yeah.
Right. Now it shows up in prepaids and right. There's some math behind this. And so it's not hard and fast, but the money coming out of your pocket and the cash flow makes a big difference for timing things. Right. But that's how that works. And so if you have a skilled negotiator, you can really negotiate these things. And that's why, sometimes I'll run into clients that want to be kind of tight-lipped about what's going on with their situation. And it's almost like a mistrust. Like they don't, I don't run into it very often, but it happens sometimes, right? Like, don't you worry about it. You just negotiate that house price. And it's like, no, guys, you have to understand if you have a skilled negotiator, I know one of the things that we talk about on our team, Mike, is one of our core values, right, in our organization is no jerks. We don't hire jerks, and we on a basic level, we hire the type of people that genuinely care what happens to other people, right? Just on a basic level.
100%.
That's that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your credentials are. If you're not a human that cares about what happens to other humans, you cannot work for us. Right? And if you deem yourself to be a human that doesn't care about other humans and you work for us, same kind of thing. You don't work for us anymore. It's just how we roll, right? But anyway, so the more we know about what's going on with your family and what's going on with kind of your move and your situation, the more we can help navigate little things like that. There's a million little things that you don't even know you don't know. You know what I mean?
And some of that stuff, not even money related, but just stress.
Yeah.
Make your life easier. Because guys, when we're working with somebody, this is a partnership, right? Like, yes, you are employing us to do a service as to help you buy a home or help you sell a home and do those things. But in all honesty, guys, think about this. This is a huge move. If anybody's ever moved apartments, multiply that by 5, because that's about the amount of stuff you got in the house when you're selling it.
No.
Easily. This is a partnership. The more information that we have, the better we can help you to make the right choice and the right decision and pick the right offers and negotiate the right terms and the right timing. All of it, right?
If I'm selling my house And I give May 5th is the day after the important holiday. Is your birthday May 4th? Oh no, May 4th is May the 4th be with you. Gotcha. Oh yeah, you're in June. May the 4th be with you. Gotcha. Got it. Yeah, Steve's got it. All right. Look, if I'm selling my house and I give up $500, right? I take an offer that's $500 less or $1,000 less, but it makes my life easier or makes the move less stressful all day long.
Absolutely.
Right? Which is why, yeah.
Yeah, the other side of it is a lot of times we're looking at the potential double move. And if we're using movers, that 5,000, we just spent that 5 times over.
Yeah, if you have to double move, you got to go into a storage unit and then yeah.
And anytime somebody picks something up and puts it back down again, they're going to charge you. So if they're going to pick it up and put it down in a storage unit versus the next place, they're going to charge you again when they pick it up in the storage unit and put it down to the next place.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I got Logan on here.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're selling your home and you would like to have showings at 1 a.m., call Logan Wirt.
Yep, he will make sure that you have to.
He will make sure it happens. I'm teasing. Logan, you do a fantastic job for your clients.
Yeah,
fantastic job for your clients, and a great co-broke to work with.
Absolutely,
and he'll show your house at 1 a.m. That's good. Donna, really great question. Yeah.
All right, what do we got here? A lot of words.
Issue I've been in recently has been sellers who might have been ecstatic with a 515 offer a week ago, now just accepted a 540 and won't budge on a legitimate inspection ask for $2,000, and we want to go back to the other lower offers. You know what's really interesting? This is a great question, and
this is a great question.
One of the things that happens within a real estate transaction, I'm trying to tread lightly with this, but one of the things that happens within a real estate transaction, and one of the reasons that you need skilled negotiators on your side and both sides, and one of the reasons that you need partnership with the other agent. Look, a big part of the reason that we're able to win some of these offers is because we've partnered with other agents for so long, and they know that we're doing what's best for our client, but sometimes doing what's best for our client also means doing what's best to move the transaction forward. Right?
Yeah. Not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, and so if you've got a client selling a $540,000 home, and sometimes what happens is they don't want to give up a penny on inspection because it's just like an ego thing. There's nothing wrong with my house. There's nothing wrong with my house, and I'm going to dig in and I'm going to die on this hill, right? Yeah. We run into that sometimes. I mean, we do. Now, look, I'm a allow people to learn their own lessons the hard way kind of thing. And so I'll articulate that to a client, Mike. I'll say, hey, listen, I'm happy to allow you to learn this lesson the hard way. And at the end of the day, my responsibility is to provide you advice and allow you, I call it the steward of the decision, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you your options, and I'm going to allow you to make the decision that you feel like is best for your family. Okay. And can I share with you what I've ran into in the past? What I've run into the past is that we do that. We dissolve this offer, and then we go back and we accept another offer, and they still have to do an inspection, and it still pops up. Yeah. Or let's pretend on a $540,000 home, Mike, that you've got you owe $400,000 on that.
Yeah.
Right. And if you owe $400,000 on that, your house payment's probably $3,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's call it 3,000.
Call it $3,000, right? Between taxes and insurance and in all of those things. And so the conversation I might have with the client at that point is the opportunity cost of gaining $2,000 worth having this drag out for another 30 days and losing $3,000?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I'm happy to do it. Would you rather have $2,000 or would you rather have $3,000?
Yeah. And that's a great point.
Well, then let me offer a suggestion. Even if they own the house cash, right? Even if they don't own a mortgage on it, on a $540,000 home, depending on the area, my guess is the property taxes on that home are, again, depending on the municipality, but I would say $7,000 or $8,000.
Yeah.
Right. So if
$600 a month.
Yeah. So it's $700 a month plus the insurance cost, right? Which is probably another $100 a month. So now we're up to $800 a month. And then that means you also got to own the home another 30 days. Now, by the way, you don't think that matters. I had a scenario this winter. I had a scenario this winter with ice dams, Mike, and them owning the home another 30 days ended up costing them $10,000 in repairs. And I'm not saying it happens all the time, but at some point there's risk. And what I find typically with my wealthier clients is that they want to mitigate risk, right? They don't want the hassle. They want to mitigate risk. I also find that with my higher end clients, right, selling a $540,000 home, thank God for there's some folks that $1,000 means something to them.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've been at a point in my life where $1,000 was more than I would have had in my bank account, right? And typically what I find with my $540,000 clients is like, thank God they've been put in a spot where $1,000 is reasonably meaningless to them. So really it just comes down to like, I want to dig in and I just want to dig in. And the truth of the matter is that I find that when clients dig in like that, they actually end up losing more than they win.
Agreed.
Oh,
And to your point, Austin, I mean, and just throwing this one back out there,
yeah,
we will present all of the options.
Yeah.
We'll present all of the data, right? And that's not just the data of, hey, these guys want $2,000 off on the home inspection. It's the data of, okay, they want $2,000 off on the home inspection, and the other offer is still starting at 10,000 lower. We might be able to get them up to the 540. They might not ask for the same thing because this is a legitimate concern versus an illegitimate concern, and there are plenty of illegitimate, frankly, and that's one thing you got to take into consideration, especially as an agent, is taking a look at that. I mean, is the $2,000 because there's a ground fault interrupter plug not working? Awesome. I'll go to Home Depot myself, spend the $8, go get a new plug.
Sure.
Right? Is it because of downspout extensions? Great. 99% of the properties out there don't have them anyway. Or is this a mold issue or a water intrusion, or is there a heat exchanger on the fritz where you got to replace a furnace? Maybe. I mean, are we talking about a health and safety, like a legitimate thing, or are we talking about an illegitimate thing, like, just somebody trying to nickel and dime and trying to bring that price back down? Totally true. And I will give my opinion on that as well. But to your point, Austin, once I give all of the options and then the one or two choices that I think are the best for the client, I allow the client to make that decision.
I allow you to make the decision.
Because it's their house and their money, right? And my job is to advise and to guide, but I can't do. That's not my name on the deed. It's not my name on the deed.
Here's another way this shows up. Not to interrupt you, but let's pretend that the buyer asked for $20,000 after inspections, and the seller was like, when the seller,
Austin and I feel the exact same, Logan.
Yeah, it makes me come to tears, and they don't think I'm 150,000% looking for this. Yeah,
and we've done enough business together that I know that is damn well how you feel as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what makes you a great co-op agent. I love working with you. I love seeing you on the other end of a transaction because I know your heart's in it and this thing's going to go to a closing and everybody wins.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing that we see sometimes, Mike, is like the buyer came back and asked for 20 grand because there was like some legitimate things, right? Like maybe a foundation issue or a roof or something like that. And the seller said, I'll meet you in the middle at 10. And the buyer said, I won't budge from 12. And so they're fighting over that $2,000, but it's the difference between 10 and 12.
Yeah.
Sometimes I see that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I see that.
Yeah. And to your point, run out all the scenarios.
Just run them out.
A lot of people look at it from the other point of view of, okay, they're looking at 2,000, but that's not all the money. Yeah. Even on that payment of the 3,000 a month, even if it's we're still in inspection, we're still towards the beginning of a situation or of the offer accepted, even if it's only 15 days, right? We're still looking at a $1,500 push on the payment. So are we really going to fight over $500? Is it worth it? Is it worth the aggravation? We might not get the other people up to the price and terms that this guy is.
Yeah.
You want to make that bet for $500?
Yeah.
If it's my home, I'm betting $500.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing I would say to you, Logan. If I were negotiating this, I would put it as a, hey, would you rather? Okay. Can I lay out your scenarios? Would you rather have this scenario or this scenario?
Yeah.
If that didn't work, I would take them to a pain place.
Yeah.
Hey, how would you feel if this happened? Is it worth the risk of that happening to go back on the market? And if they say yes, you go, great, let's go back on the market.
Then let's do it.
Right?
Because they're in charge. It's their home. Their name's on the deed.
Yep. So we're the stewards of the decision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a believer in trusting experts, Mike. Like, it's funny because like if I go into Nordstrom's and I want to buy a gift for my wife for her birthday or anniversary or something, and the sales rep comes up to me and says, "Hey, can I help you?" I'm like, "Yep, let me tell you exactly what's going on. This is the occasion. This is what I want to spend. This is the kind of stuff my wife likes. Show me what you got." Right? Because I want to trust the expert. They know the inventory in the store. So like, I don't need to like browse. Tell me how to nail this thing. And then go in. That's why. And then they'll wrap it up real nice in the Nordstrom thing. It's like amazing. Right. But same kind of thing. Like if for whatever reason, God forbid, I found myself in some kind of legal trouble, Mike, and I hire an attorney, you better believe I'm going to do what the attorney says, right? I'm just going to do what they say. I'm paying them the money to tell me what to do. I'm going to do what they say. So I hear you, Logan. By the way, good morning, everybody. And great question, by the way. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Real Estate Q&A. And if this is your first time, we do this every Saturday morning, 10 a.m., and we'll answer any real estate questions you have. So throw in the real estate questions. My name is Austin Pothast. I'm the Director of Sales. I run the day-to-day sales for the Perna team. And I've been in the business 17 years, and Mike Perna is our CEO, and he's been in the business for, I don't know what you're at, 20 years, 21 years. And we're happy to answer any questions for you. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you giving that to us.
Check this one out.
Yeah. Logan, can I share with you the challenge about TJ Maxx for me? I like my sleeves to be the same length. So TJ Maxx sometimes can create a challenge for me. I'm being funny. Of course, I shop at TJ Maxx. I love the Nordstrom rack, honestly. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't answer all of Donna's question. What was her other question?
Let's see.
Who's in charge of paying the occupancy?
Who's paying for occupancy? Right. Here you go. Bring it back. Yep.
Okay, so she said, could you explain when a buyer should expect the first mortgage payment after closing, and who's in charge of paying the occupancy fee? It's all negotiation.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can negotiate where the buyer's paying, where the buyer gives it to him for free, and sometimes you can negotiate where the seller's paying a fee. I almost always negotiate some sort of deposit if they're going to be living in the house afterwards. $1,000, $1,500, just to make sure if there's a hole in the wall, it's taken care of. Right.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it, guys. That it because the deposit, as long as the seller does the right thing, is going to go back to them anyway, right? And to be honest, this is going to sound like an odd thing to say, but sometimes for sellers, it's actually easier as well. Because like if something does go wrong, right, and they put a hole in the wall or whatever that looks like, sometimes it's easier to slide $200 or $250 or $300 out of the deposit and give it to the buyer than to come back and get a contractor and deal with it and fix it and all of those things. And I've had plenty of sellers in the past call me up and say, "Hey, Mike, the movers are moving this couch. I've got 2 holes in the wall. The moving company said they would do some sort of reimbursement. It's going to take 30 days. And my answer is, great. You know what? Do the email thing for the reimbursement. Why don't we just give them $500 because that's what you're getting anyway out of the deposit. And then your life will be easier because you don't have to go and hire a contractor or anything. We'll make it right by the buyer and you get to move on with your life."
Yep.
So as a seller, even, I will say a deposit is worthwhile because, it can keep you out of court, frankly. Very much so. I've seen that happen many, many times. Yeah.
By the way, there's only one person that wins when people go to court.
Yep. And that's the attorney.
That's the attorney.
Absolutely.
Nobody ever wins.
Nobody wins. Everything is so much cheaper.
That's tough to keep things out of court.
Yeah. And most of the time, I mean, we're 99.9% of the time, a great conversation can solve pretty much any issue.
Yeah.
Seriously. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah. We're taught that in like kindergarten, by the way.
Yeah. That's true.
We just get dug in as adults. And so sometimes, a lot of the times, that's what we do. It's like, hey, let's just talk this out.
Yeah.
Let's figure this out.
Yeah.
All right. So Johnny broke the toy. Okay.
Yeah.
Johnny, say you're sorry for breaking the toy. You know what I mean? It's the same concept. Yeah. Concept.
No, it really is. It really, and I have a situation right now where a buyer and a seller were just going at it about a repair that was done after the closing. And it's taking longer for the seller to do the repair than thought. And the guy's a contractor, so he wanted to do it himself. And it was some of the siding that needed to be replaced. And I just said to the buyer, I said, you know what? You're over there right now. Knock on the door, see if he's home, and just tell him what's going on. And what was going on was supply lines are just running long on the siding. It's taken an extra 3 or 4 weeks. He could pull up the order on his phone and show the guy, and all of a sudden, all the temperatures went down.
Yeah.
Because the guy with the gentleman that now owns the property was like, okay, this makes sense. You did actually order this X amount of weeks ago. This actually did happen. They did only do a partial delivery, and you were good enough to come out and at least do a partial job first, and you're going to come back into just a great conversation. Humans, everybody's good people talking to other good people, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it actually works. Yeah. This is a good one.
How do you feel about home warranties? All right, well, let me explain for those of you that don't know what a home warranty is. Let me explain that first. And so there's companies out there, and what they'll do is when you buy a home, and actually you don't even have to buy the home. Like you could just go and get a home warranty on your current home, and what it does is it protects. There's like a whole list of things, right? That it protects you as the homeowner if they broke. So like garbage disposal and dishwasher and stoves and furnaces and refrigerators and all kinds of stuff like that. And so I know DTE offers some programs on appliances as well, and so you can always. But the home warranties are a little more. The home warranties are a little more kind of like all encompassing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if one of those things broke within the first year of you owning the house, or sometimes you can buy a home warranty where it's the first 2 years. There's also like riders that you can add on for washer and dryers and
pools
and pools and all kinds of stuff, right?
Whatever. Yeah.
Yep. So there's a lot of options. It's not just like it's not a cookie cutter thing. There's different things that you can add on at different expense levels. And so if anything breaks, you pay a deductible. You pay, I don't know, $100 deductible or something like that. And they come out and they fix your garbage disposal or whatever it might be. Right. And it's a popular way to negotiate on both ends. So it's like not only does it protect the client, it protects the seller as well, right? It protects the buyer because it's got some peace of mind. And if something breaks in the first year and maybe they've gone through all their money, not only with the down payment and the closing costs and buying couches and painting and all the things, right? It just kind of protects them for those first year or two. And then if you're the seller, it protects you on the other end. Like one of the things that you have to do in the state of Michigan is you have to disclose everything that's wrong with the house. And if, and let's pretend that you just missed disclosing something, right? And so sometimes those things, not always, but sometimes those things can protect you on that if something breaks within the first year, and so that a buyer doesn't come back and sue you or ask you for money. But anyway, they're really popular. They're less popular right now because of how hot the market is. But sellers would offer them oftentimes to buyers as like an incentive to buy the house, or a buyer would offer that. Like after a home inspection, you find some stuff wrong with the house and you say, okay, how about this? Instead of me asking you to fix all this stuff, you tack on a home warranty that's going to cover me if it breaks within the first year or two, right? And the typical costs on those are between $400 and I think they go all the way up to $700-800 depending on things. They might even
depending on what you're insuring and how long you're insuring it. You can buy a 2-year warranty right out the gate.
Yeah.
And then you can keep extending it every year if you want. So I've seen people do that.
So that's home warranty. So then the question is, what's your feeling on them? Go ahead. I know my
feeling on it. So, and I'll tell a specific story, and then I'll give you more of a broad base. When a sale I had, this must be 15 years ago. Gentleman traveled a lot for work, single guy, bought a home for me in Plymouth, and he called me and said, "Hey, my furnace went out, and I need to get to the airport for work. I don't have time to do anything. Didn't I have a home warranty on this thing or whatever?" And I said, "Yep, just go. Just leave a key somewhere. Just go." Right. Because he needed to be at a sales event for work for what he does for a living.
Yeah.
So I called the home warranty company. I was like, I don't even know what the contract number is. And the guy's like, "Oh, what's the address?" Because that's what we're using as a contract number. I'm like, "Cool." So I gave him the address. He said, "Awesome. We can have a guy out there between 45 minutes and an hour and a half because it's January and everything's freezing and we don't want the pipes to burst.
Yeah.
Can somebody meet us there?" And I said, yeah, let me, get dressed and I'll get over there. It was like a Sunday morning or something like that.
Yeah.
So I went over there. They had a technician there in 90 minutes. They got the furnace up and going enough until the guy got back in town. And then they provided for a full replacement.
That's awesome.
I mean, it could not have been better service. I mean, and these guys, a lot of these home warranty companies, they really stand by their reputation, their service. So they're picking great contractors as well. And great contractors go with them because they're getting a lot of guaranteed business from these warranty companies, right? So there's that as well. My personal opinion on it, if you've got a home at or over 20 years old and you've got original mechanicals, right? Original roof, original furnace, original AC, original hot water tank. At that point, I would recommend a home warranty, because statistical probability is over those next 5 years, almost all of that's going to go.
Yep.
And at least have one of them picked up by a warranty company, and hopefully it's the furnace.
Yeah, that's my answer as well. I think it's situational. I think it's situational. If I'm buying a house that was built in 2012 and right, all the stuff is original, I'm probably not buying a home warranty, because the truth of the matter is that stuff should last another 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm buying something that, the furnace has been in there for 20 years, a lot of the stuff in your house all gets replaced at the same time. Like when we bought our house, we had to, all within 2 years, we had to replace the furnace, the roof, the siding. At some point, we might be staring down windows. Like now all that was baked into it. To me, we got a great deal on the house, and so it was all baked in. But that stuff all kind of goes at the same time. So I'd say it's situational. What's interesting is I just think warranties in general get a bad name because warranty companies are profitable. And that's like being mad at an ice cream shop for making a profit. It's like,
you're not wrong.
You go to Kroger and get ice cream for cheaper, and there's just something convenient and fun about going to the local. I live by Dairy Twist, which is the #1 ice cream seller in Oakland County or something. I don't know, but anyway, they've got custard. It's delicious. Although, if anybody that works there, then the ownership group is there. I don't understand why you charge $9 for a large flurry. You got to knock that off. But anyway, but they're a service, and at some point, there's a. It's not just dollars for dollars. There's a convenience factor.
Mm-hmm.
There's a convenience factor.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
I find myself doing lots of things to try to make my life easier.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think warranties are a good thing. We just bought a set of couches, and we got a set of warranties because it covers the couch for like 10 years if anything tears or spills. And we know that it bumped up the price of the couch by a few $100, but we got little kids.
Yeah.
Now we don't have to worry about it if he draws on it with a permanent marker, because they're going to come out and they can either fix it or they replace the couch.
Yeah.
It's a warranty, but that's my feeling on it. Being that it is April now, are we seeing appraisals catch up? Is there like a March showers bring April appraisals coming in higher? It's like boy, that's an interesting question. So, Mike, tell the narrative. What's going on with appraisals?
You bet. So we have had such low inventory and sales, like the last 2 quarters of 2020. Just because of the sheer number of sales that didn't exist, because a lot of sellers were not moving and things like that, and the market was flying up in price, meant that appraisers were using data between 90 and 270 days back, right, to value homes, which is not fair. It's not fair, because that's not the actual value, because our market's been moving up a little bit north of 1% per year, as we saw, 13.9%. So 1% per year. So put this into context. If we're using a home that's sold in your same neighborhood in October, today, that's October, November, December, January, February, and March, that's a 7% difference. If it's a $500,000 house, that's $35,000 that should be on an appraisal, but cannot be, because the appraiser is only able to use the actual data from deed transfers. They can't put suppositional data on there anymore, or abstract data such as, okay, well, the market's doing this, so this home was here, and now it's March, so this home will be here. They can't do that. They can't do that. Now, here's the good news. With the sheer number of homes sold in March, and really halfway through February and March, because looking at the data, it was about February 15th-ish, right after Valentine's Day, that we really took off like a rocket with the number of listings coming up and the number of sales coming up. That's where the 32% increase came from, and 20% month over month sales bump. Yes, I do believe that appraisals are going to start coming in closer. Now, are they going to fully catch up? No, because we're still moving up 1% a month. So if I have a sale that happened in March, let's say right at the beginning of March, And now I've got another sale coming up in April. That's a between 1% and 3% difference in sales price because, again, the market's moving up. So go back to that same $500,000 house. On the far end, 3%'s what, 15,000. 1%'s 5,000. So my expectation would be that appraisal wouldn't come out 50 to 70,000 off anymore, but it will definitely come off, 10 to 30.
Yeah.
And that's just
frustration on both sides.
Yeah.
If you're a buyer, you're frustrated because, wow, this house that I wanted to buy and that I love, it came back, let's say you're under contract for 300 grand. It came back and they're saying the house is worth 290. And I don't want to pay $300,000 for something that's worth 290.
Yeah.
The first conversation that I'd have with the buyer is, in an open market society, which is what we are, an asset is worth what someone is willing to pay for it.
That's all
the
it's
truth
worth.
of the matter is that you won that bid and you were up against 20 other offers. And if you don't pay the 300, someone's willing to pay it, which means that the house is worth 300.
Yeah.
Right. It's worth 300. And it's frustrating from a seller's standpoint because here you are, again, sellers care how much they get out of how much money they get out of it. Right. And so sellers are looking at it and going, well, I thought I was going to get 300. And then this Yahoo came back and said it's worth 290, but I have 20 other offers that are saying that it's worth whatever. And the truth is that both sides are right.
Yeah.
And so you and I just spoke about sitting down and just having a human conversation and trying to find something that works for both parties. And oftentimes those negotiations come down to that.
Yeah.
And I would say, I don't know, what would you say? Maybe 1 out of 5 appraisals are coming in light right now?
I think that number's going, I think the number was a little higher these last 45 days. I think it's more like a 1 in 3.
1 in 3. And so it'll probably creep down to 1 in 5, which means it'll probably creep down a little more in the summer to 1 out of 8, 1 out of 10. But no matter what the market is, you're up against that risk. It's just a little more heightened right now because we're in a rising environment. They can't catch up with the values because the home prices are rising. And what I would say is if you're on the buyer side, if you're buying a house and you're worried about overpaying, it's really tough to right now because home prices are going up. Matter of fact, I just sold a house over in Walled Lake. It was a $400,000 price point. We ended up paying $410 for it, right? And maybe $415. I don't remember the exact numbers. And I kind of jokingly said to my client when we did the key exchange, I bet you can put it on the market right now and get you a profit. Just home prices are going up, right? Yeah. And it kind of made him feel better about it. But on the seller side, it's look, is the value that you're getting, because right, if you put it on the market for 300 and you just happen to get 310, you were willing to sell that house for 300. So like if the 300 accomplishes what's important to you and your family, and that offer made it easy, then play ball and figure it out, guys. Meet someone in the middle, or if you're the seller and you've got a buyer that like really they can't squeeze anything out of it, like you're still getting more out of the house than what you expected to.
Well, and here's why.
Oftentimes,
as well.
Yeah.
The second time around on the market, price rarely holds the same and almost never goes up. I mean, literally 80% of the time, we are not seeing the same price as we could get if we negotiated out that first offer to the very end.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Because this market, buyers know great homes go fast and they stay gone.
Yeah.
If it comes back a second time, the question is, what's wrong with this house?
Yeah.
So sometimes, and not all.
Literally, that's the question that gets asked.
Yeah.
If you see a home pop up on the market and you're negotiating that for your buyer, you call the seller and you go, or you call the listing agent and you go, ring, ring. The kids do this because it looks like fun. We do this. Yeah. Ring, ring. Hey, what's wrong with the house? What happened?
Yeah. Right? I get that question all the time. All the time. Right? I get the question from buyers all the time. Hey, I saw this home came back on the market. What's wrong with it?
Yeah.
I'm like, and first off, it's not my listing, so I don't know. But I tell them, I'm not sure, but I will find out what's wrong with it, which again further reinforces that there's something wrong with it. When in fact, there's probably nothing wrong with it. And that's really the truth of it.
Yeah, I think the bigger overall point that we're getting to, and actually, my intention is to speak about this on Monday with the group.
Yeah.
Negotiations are a function of leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Any negotiation is a function of leverage.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, as the seller, you can diminish your leverage by going back on the market because somebody thinks it's wrong with it.
That's exactly
If
right.
you're the buyer and there's 20 other offers and backup offers that were really similar, and you just won it because of a flip of a coin, you don't have any leverage either.
Yeah.
So negotiations are a function of leverage, and we can pull those levers the best that we can. And sometimes, I mean, oftentimes we just outskill the other people on the other end. It's not meant to be that way, but I'm just saying negotiations are a function of leverage. So you really have to just be honest about the leverage you do or don't have when negotiating these things. But yeah, I think appraisals are, Cody, to answer your question, I think appraisals are going to catch up. And that's always going to be there. No matter what the market is, you still run into the occasional appraisal coming in low.
Yeah.
Right.
And that
did we answer that right?
I think we got that right. I mean, I mean, basically, again, just going back to it, it's all situational.
Yep.
It's all situational. I mean, I've had appraisers come in, 60,000 light, and it's in the buyer or the seller's best interest to say, hey, let's call offers number. And I just tell them, let's just call offers number 2 and 3, see if they've got more money to put down than this guy because this guy can't make it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's not the wrong answer either. Yeah. And I've seen appraisals come in, like 5,000 light, and the buyer's willing to go 3,000 of the way. Well, at that point, let's negotiate out that last 2,000. Because going back on the market, chances are pretty darn good we're not going to get that 2,000 back anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all situational. Yeah.
All situational. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good. It's good. What
Did
else?
we nail it today?
Huh?
Did we nail it today?
I mean, I think you nailed it. I think I showed up and
I think you nailed it too.
It looked pretty, but
I put some data together and then you actually said what it meant. Because I'm really bad at that.
That is kind of our dynamic. You fiddle with the data and I'll go, okay, this is what it means in plain English.
Yeah. Here it is in English. Yeah.
I love that. Love that. Okay, well, let's tie a bow on it then. Great job. So I guess any last call for any questions, but so first and foremost, look, Mike, and I always like to end it this way, and I know you feel this way. We think we're the luckiest people on earth, and we're put in a position where we get to impact families and help families navigate what honestly is, I would say, outside of a birth or a death, probably the most stressful thing that happens in their life. And and we're in a position every single day where we get to listen to our clients and figure out what's important to them and help them accomplish that. And I can't tell you how grateful we are, not only for our clients and for the families that trust us, but there's a lot of families that also work for our organization and entrust our families, or entrust their families with us too. We take that very seriously on both ends, and we feel like we're super lucky. So, and Mike, I'm grateful for your leadership every day. And at any rate, we're super grateful. Right? Anything to add on that?
That's it, man. I mean, and I mean, I'll say, like, everything that we're doing system wise, we are to your point, we're the great fiddlers. We are continually working to remove as many stressors from this process as possible, because moving it can be a high stress thing. Absolutely. And everything we can do every single day to make that easier, any system in place, additional communication, whatever that looks like, we are going the extra mile on that. And frankly, I see that in our Google reviews. Yeah.
Yep. The answers add up. Anyway, so every single Saturday, 10 a.m., we do this. And so invite your friends, invite your family, share it, whatever you need to do. And we'll answer anything real estate related. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Cool. See ya.